A little later than usual. Sorry, guys. We had a guest visitor here at the 1010XL studios. Baby Murph.
Oh, Baby Murph's here.
Little baby Summer down at Murphy's newest edition. She popped by for a visit, so I was
going to say, she can't
I was in
back,
baby duty.
She can't be back at work already.
I don't know if it's pregnancy hormones or if she's on some kind of drugs, but she had trusted me to hold the child, which was just a foolish endeavor. But
one should never do.
Great news. All's well that ends well. The kid pulled through just fine.
I mean, Petit Filet is still living.
He's still around, so. Yeah. I mean, There's one thing about kids, man. They're resilient, man. They're resilient.
Yeah.
I only dropped her the one time.
Drop them on the head once or twice.
And she seemed fine. No,
they're like cats. You can drop them.
They are like cats. They land on their feet. They're incredibly resilient. It's amazing. And they have 9 lives, so it's like, go to town. Have fun.
Yes.
On that note, welcome. It's After Drill. Beef.
Drew.
I'm train of thoughts off now. After last night's, not to go off subject for you Googans, but last night big win for the Northsiders. Tried to blow it, man. Blew the lead, had a Bartman moment, and somehow held on. And it's a tight race, so we're riding the wave of elation.
I really hope Jacob deGrom cemented the side.
deGrom has been so good, man.
He's got to get it. He has to have it.
We don't want to go too far down the baseball rabbit hole, but. What Jacob deGrom has done this year is staggering.
Yes.
Staggering. It's not just that he's the clear-cut Cy Young Award winner. I mean, it's like he's arguably had the best pitching season anybody's ever had.
And the crazy thing is he might not still get it because the Mets can't win games.
Can't score runs to support him and can't win games. And he's going to finish with 10-9? 10-9 on the season with a 1.7 ERA, but the metrics that deGrom has, and just watching him, it's spectacular. And I hate the Mets. I hate them so much that it burns up my soul to prop up a Mets pitcher for the Cy Young. But Jake deGrom has been so good.
Yeah, 217 innings pitched, 1.70 ERA, 269 Ks. Finished. Start last night was 8 inning pitched, 2 hits, 0 runs, 0 walks, 10 Ks.
Yeah, and the 2 hits were early hits. I mean, after that he locked it down.
And that's not even like a crazy.
That's the Braves. That's the Braves who are neck and neck with the Cubs right now for the best record in the National League and home field throughout the National League playoffs. So it's not like he was pitching against the stinkfish or something. It was a tough opponent that he shut down and shut out. But moving on. We're really here to talk football. That's what we do. And Jags now just a few days away from a big game against the Jets. On paper when the schedule came out, you maybe didn't think of the Jets game as a big game, but right now when you're staring down the barrel of the schedule ahead of them, it becomes a bigger game. It's a game that they need to take advantage of for a lot of reasons we talked about on the drill this morning, Drew, because of the schedule coming up, and also because this is really the last chance for the Jaguars to take advantage of their built-in advantage, being that merciless, brutal 1 p.m. heat at TIAA Bank Field. And look, it didn't affect the Titans as much, and that makes sense because they're coming down from Nashville. That heat doesn't affect them as much. You come from New York, it's a lot like the Patriots. It's an oppressive heat that maybe they don't deal with.
You're not going to get that humidity that I think.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's an advantage, and the Jags need to take advantage of it on Sunday against New York. And look, New York's no slouch. They're a good team, and Sam Darnold has been pretty terrific for a rookie starter right out of the chutes. He's done the job, and they're no slouch. They beat the Jags last year, so they're not coming in here scared.
Right.
And so the Jags, we still don't 100% know what the score will be with Leonard Fournette, but I feel my gut says he's going to play. That doesn't mean anything. I don't know. I don't have any inside information.
He's got to play.
But they need him. The offense was putrid last week, and I think a big portion of that was the lack of Leonard Fournette. Now you say, oh well, they didn't have him against New England. Well, it was a different type of defense and a different approach. And I think defensively, the way the Jets will approach this game is a lot more similar to how the Titans approached it than say how New England approached it, just based on personnel.
Like I said, I still think the more that I think about the Titans game, I think it's, if you really give it some thought, the way that they had planned for Blake Bortles at least throwing the football the way he did. Seems to me it's so obvious that they really thought up until last minute Leonard Fournette.
It really feels
I
like
think
it.
they installed that entire game
I
plan
think, right.
thinking Leonard Fournette is
Thinking
playing
they were
in
gonna
that
have
game. Because really what ended up happening was, and this would make sense if Leonard was in the game, we got ourselves in a ton, and I mean a ton, of short yardage third down situations. Sure. 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 1.
Right.
And
just
we continuously
tailor-made Leonard Fournette situations.
Continuously could not get them because, one, it didn't even seem like we trusted T.J. Yeldon to run the ball on 3rd and 3s, so we're throwing with Bortles. Yeah. It was a combination of him being off, receivers dropping passes and whatnot. And then on the 3rd and 1s, which are almost automatic for Leonard Fournette, almost impossible to stop, T.J. Yeldon was unable to pick up. And again, that's no knock on TJ. I mean, I give a lot of props to TJ because I still think he played particularly well, and not to make, he was the leading receiver in the game as well, I believe. And, I mean, we know he was banged up, so he stuck it up and went out there and played, because if you have no TJ and no Leonard Fournette, all of a sudden Corey Grant and Wilds are going to be your 2 running backs. That's not going to
get it done.
No,
that's not going to get it done at all.
combination.
And then you become very one-dimensional, and that one dimension was also awful last week.
Yeah.
So then you're in big trouble. And look, I mean...
Then you score like 6 points
right,
in a
you
football
score
game.
6 points in a football game, and you lose.
Yeah.
Even if your defense does, balls out and holds them to 9. It's not enough.
The NFL did come out and say they missed the holding call on Taylor Lewan on Telvin Smith, which is plain as day obvious. Now look, Telvin still got his hands on Mariota and might have been able to slow him down, wrap him up, something. But you see him, basically, it was a zone read.
Right.
So Telvin does nothing but replace the end. And, collapses on the back. Telvin comes to take the quarterback. He comes around the corner, looks like he'd have him, and Luan really just grabs him by the shoulder and hooks him down. I mean, it's a clear hold, almost reminiscent of, AFC title game, game-clinching third down. Where they missed the hold on Telvin, where Telvin's getting hold and he's literally throwing his hands up as he's being held, and it's just not called. Yeah. Now look, being a ref, people don't understand, is probably so hard. I mean, I can't even imagine how hard their job is, especially for flags like that. I mean, if you're not just looking in a particular place, a blatant penalty, you just might not see it. It's just unfortunate that it happens right at the point of attack on a game-clinching first down.
At a critical moment.
You think that's where your eyes would be, but whatever.
Again.
What do I know?
What do we know? All we know is, look, we talked about it, we talked about it this morning, too, on the drill. We talked about what do we want to see out of the Jaguars' offense, and I wasn't trying to be a smart aleck when I boiled it down. I want to see Leonard. I feel like that's the difference. Mm-hmm. It's not a matter of, I want to see a lot of things, that you could use consistency and a little more of a dynamic approach. But all that boils down to having Leonard. Having Leonard lets you do those things.
The thing that worries me most about Leonard, too, is everybody inside the organization, and I feel like close to it, people even around, fans, the knock on him was injury-prone coming out of college. Yeah. But his big injury were his ankles. He's got bad ankles. This isn't even that, and he's missed 2 games for a non-ankle related injury. What happens now when at some point during the year, if his ankles you're going to miss more? I mean, we're talking the potential of Leonard Fournette missing 4 or 5 games in a season. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Chris, you missed the Cubs talk.
It's over.
At the beginning. We already did it. You look, man, I've said it before. This is the least impressive contending team I've ever seen in my life. Look, and we've seen them when they're right. Not to go back to the Cubs, but if you they can flip the switch. When they flip the switch, they're really good, man. But right now, the switch looks like it's flipped to off, and it needs to flip on soon because we're now 4 games away from the postseason, and things need to get moving. But back to the Jags. Look, on top of the game on the field, we got a real, for lack of a better term, man, just a kick in the nuts. The Fox is doing the game this week. It's not a CBS game. It's a Fox game this week, despite 2 AFC games. Things are a little more fluid in that. It's going to be Fox doing the game this week, and they announced a couple days ago that the color commentator for this Fox game doing his one game this year is the mustachio devil himself, Jeff Fisher. I hate that man. I don't know him. I've never met him. I don't want to ever meet him.
I met him on Hard Knocks. I
hate
don't like him.
Yeah, I hate him. I hate everything he's done. I hate everything he's about. I hate his face. I hate his mustache. I hate the way he talks. I hate the way he breathes. I hate the way he chews food. I hate him.
Before beef explodes into a rage, which is so obviously coming, I have to ask you a question that I saw that the Jaguars came out saying they're wearing the white on white. Did you like the white on teal?
It's probably, of the combinations you can do with the new uniforms, it's probably my least favorite.
I did not like it.
Yeah.
I think the top has no teal in it whatsoever. Your helmet barely has teal in it whatsoever. It doesn't match. It's just like, it looks like you're just trying. You're just trying to throw the teal in there. It's like the white, it's just white and black. And then it's like all of a sudden you got this teal that, just, to me, just it didn't fit. I know a lot of people liked them.
I like the teal pants.
I like the teal
the
pants. I just don't like them with the white.
Yeah, I like them with the black shirts, just fine.
Yeah.
Because like you said, the black shirt has some teal accents in it, and it works a little bit better. But I'm not a big fan of that combo. I don't hate it, but it's my least favorite of the combinations. I think my favorite is probably the teal shirt with the white pants, which kind of goes back to the old look, the old ways, the old days. I like the all teal. We haven't, I like the all black, and I like the black over the white. But I think I don't really care for the teal pants except when they're with the all teal. I don't mind the black over teal, and I don't really care for the white over teal. So I like the teal pants, but mostly when it's the all teal, like the color rush kind of look.
Right.
I like them, but I think they pair best with the teal shirt.
I
so
agree.
I just
no fashion.
by the way, tonight, unrelated while we're on uniforms, the Rams are wearing their color rush throwbacks tonight, and far and away,
pretty sweet.
They're sweet, man.
That's pretty sweet.
The only thing I would change, and I guess they can't do anything because of the league's stupid, one shell rule with the helmets. You're not really allowed to change your helmet throughout the year. It's not like college where every damn week they have a different helmet. The NFL, it's like your helmet's your helmet. And so the Rams, they'll use that really bright yellow stickers on the horns to replace the gold or the white now, I should say, that they have. But it's still the navy helmets while they're wearing that bright royal blue shirt. And it's a little off. And I'm hoping that, the word is that when they move into that new stadium, that they're going back to the old LA Ram uniforms, like the blue with the yellow.
That'd be pretty sweet.
And I hope that's the case because those look boss.
Yeah, especially when they're good.
When they're good, the Rams are wearing like blue and yellow. Man, they look so cool. I'm a stickler for like more traditional looking NFL uniforms, and that's I think why I like the Jags new set. It's not that I hated the last uniforms. I didn't mind the uniforms. I just hated the helmet. But I love how more traditional looking and
who you got tonight? Vikings, Rams.
I got the Rams.
Yeah,
I got the Rams. I got the Rams big tonight.
Big.
I got the Rams big tonight. I think the Vikings are.
The Vikings have some problems.
This is a kick in the peaches for me because the Vikes were my Super Bowl pick, and they're a hot mess right now, man.
Yeah.
Zim's over there, crying in his grape nuts over having to fly to L.A. for a Thursday night game. This Everson Griffin thing is a nightmare for the Minnesota Vikings. They've got problems to begin with.
Did he get, what were his injuries from the jump?
I don't know what his injuries were, but he jumped out of an ambulance on his way to a mental evaluation. I think he was getting Baker acted and he dove out of an ambulance.
Yeah.
Everson Griffin has issues, and I'm not trying to make light or fun of Everson Griffin's mental health situation, but it's weighing on that team. You can tell.
Absolutely.
It's a cloud, much like the Le'Veon Bell thing's hanging over Pittsburgh. This Everson Griffin deal is hanging over the Vikings. I just want,
when you watch this game tonight and you continue to watch the Vikings for the rest of the year and they end up going 9-7, I want every Jags fan who has continued and did clamor for Kirk Cousins to be the guy in Jacksonville over Bortles, worth $83 million guaranteed. I want you guys to watch it because I'm telling you, yes, Kirk Cousins is better than Blake Bortles. We know that. Is he $30 million better?
Right.
No.
Now keep in mind, if you pay him $30 million more than Blake,
Bye-bye, Yannick.
Some dudes are going to have to go.
Maybe Ramsey. I mean,
I don't know.
Look, I mean,
That's
here's
the
the
thing.
bottom line. The
Can't pay everybody.
NFL, you got to pay people. I mean, if you'd told people 2 years ago, Le'Veon Bell won't be a Steeler for life, people would be like, how? How could the Steelers possibly let him go?
He's the best running
back.
back.
And that's how people feel about Jalen. How could you possibly let Jalen go? Things happen.
Right.
The Steelers don't want to pay Le'Veon. Maybe they don't even have the money to give him exactly what he wants because they have other assets they have to pay.
Bro, a year ago, if you'd have told me that the Raiders were going to desperately trade Khalil Mack, I would have thought you were insane.
Right. So the bottom line, I mean, I'm just telling you.
It happens.
You got to prepare for things to be able to pay these players so you're not in a predicament all of a sudden where you have a superstar and you go, well, we either got to trade you or just let you walk because we can't pay you. Luckily over here, that's not as big of a problem for us because we got the big bucks. The con bucks.
Yeah, so, that's the thing. I think, back to the game tonight, I think the Vikings are in like a major crisis mode. I know the game's got a big line. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it's a pretty big line in favor of the Rams. And I'd play it, man. I think the Vikings...
7.
The Vikings need this game, and I don't think they're going to get this game. And they're a team that's on the verge of having this season kind of slip away from them. I'm not saying they won't be decent, but they felt like a team coming into the season that had all the goods to be a 12-4, 13-3 type team and roll into the NFC playoffs.
This is
they may end up being more like an 8-8, 9-7 team, desperate, fighting for a wild card.
Here's a really bad stat for the Vikings. Their leading rusher is Dalvin Cook. He's got 26 carries and 78 yards.
Yeah, it's not good. And we thought that they were going to have a healthy Cook, and that was going to be a big part of their offense, and so far it hasn't come through for them.
Right.
And, it's not a good scene in Minnesota right now. They're a team that's struggling, and they're a team in crisis. And but, I mean, look, the Pittsburgh Steelers were a team in crisis last week, rolling into Tampa, a team that was red hot, and they went in there and beat that ass. Look, Fitzpatrick, led Tampa on a big comeback, chucking the ball all over the place in the second half. Steelers kicked the crap out of them in the first half. That was a one-sided game for 30 minutes of football. And, hey, the Vikings have everybody on defense outside of Everson Griffin.
Right.
So could they go in there and beat the Rams? Sure. I just don't. My gut says that's not what's going to happen.
If the last weekend of NFL didn't teach you anything can happen in the NFL. But again, I picked the Rams in the game.
Chris says Minnesota wins as both starting cornerbacks are out for the Rams, so Diggs and Thielen go off.
That's true. They are.
I mean, that's a big factor. You're right.
Akib and Peters are both not playing. I think I do remember that.
Yeah, and that's a factor. But something about this tells me that this is a Rams game. This is, and maybe it's not as big as I think, but I think this one could get squirrely and get away from Minnesota. I think the Rams could end up winning this one by 2 scores in the end.
We'll see.
It's just feels like that for me. I feel like Minnesota's in a team in crisis, and I don't feel a response like we felt last week with the Steelers on Monday night. But we'll see. We'll find out. We'll talk to you tomorrow, and if I'm wrong, you can laugh at me on After Drill. Until then, we love you, Googans. Bye.